Hi, and welcome to Lock Haven's A Senior Moment. I'm Mary Beth Truitt. I'm the marketing director at Lock Haven. It's always very interesting to me how some people use their talents in service and mission to help other people. And today we're back in Bevere. We did another segment here in Bevere and talking about the boutique here that many clothes are donated and given away to people in need. Today, it's kind of this some of the same group of women who get together and they make mats. They make mats for the homeless. Today we're going to be talking with Viola Morsbaugh, who is going to be the chief spokesman for a while. Welcome, Viola.
Hello.
We are very welcome to have you, Viola, and we have several of the ladies that come together and help you. So I want to start out with that. I would like to introduce them. I'll just kind of pass this microphone around, and then we will talk about this project.
Marilyn Lamberson.
Wanda Wyatt.
Carla McVicker.
I'm coming this way.
Irene Wyatt.
Connie Argett-Singer.
Patty Cheever.
And we already introduced Viola. So I'd like to get going. We are, I think I said, at Bevere, and we are at the Community of Christ Church. And this is a place where these ladies gather to make these mats. Viola, I think you were kind of the ringleader of this project. So tell me a little bit of how this all got started.
Well, we just moved down here 2.5 years ago, and our son moved to Plattsburgh about 1.5 years ago. And in getting acquainted with his community, they found people who were making bed mats for the homeless. And the whole community gets together in Plattsburgh and does this. All kids, Gemma's age and on up, but all kids do. And I said, oh, that sounds really cool. Send me the instructions, which of course, as your children, you know, he didn't. And so I brought it up to the women's, at the women's meeting, and I said, what do you guys think? And everybody, nah, I don't think so. And the day after, 2 of them called and said, you know, I think that does sound like a worthwhile project. Let's try it. And so originally, we met in our shed out at our place. And finally, Carla says, you know, we could make this a community thing. Let's put it in the church and invite the community. And so that's what we did. At Christmas time, we had 9 mats done. And it takes about 10 hours to weave a mat. Mm-hmm. And so we had 9 mats done, and I took them to St. Louis, to a church there where our daughter goes. And I talked to her today, and she said that the guy who took them to the homeless said, I had them rolled up on the table, and they line all kinds of things up that they've gathered for the homeless in St. Louis. And he said, I turned around, and all of those mats were gone. He said, honestly, I didn't even know what they were for, but apparently the people who needed them did, because they were all gone when he turned around. So
wow. So the women, how many typically women do you have gather here? What's the typical?
Oh, we've been here when there was 2, and we've been here when there was 8.
I see.
So,
and today you have a great representation, so that's wonderful. How long have you been doing this all together? And
I'm not sure when we started. Last spring?
Oh, just 3 months ago?
Well, no, I think we started in the spring. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So not even a full year then.
Not yet.
And so it took you all that time to make 9 mats. Yeah. So how long does it, well, first of all, let's talk about what are the mats made of? Because that is just, I'm sure we're getting shots of these as we go. And
they are made of plastic shopping bags.
Yeah.
And at Christmas time, we got some really pretty colors. And I see somebody today brought in some pretty neon green. That's going to make, a really pretty stripe in the mat.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So did you have to make this,
I did.
what do you call this?
This is a loom.
It is called a loom.
It's a peg loom.
Uh-huh.
And being son never got back to me, I finally went on the internet to
And
find out how to make a peg loom. And,
All right.
and we currently have 3 of them that I made. And there's a couple here in town that somebody else made, and they work on them. Like one works on them in her house, and then there's a hairdresser that has it in her beauty shop, and her clients work on it.
Right. So you said you made it a community project. I mean, we are at the church, but this is not a church group. This is anyone from the community of Bevere and anywhere, really.
Really, yeah.
If they want to join the group. And we will talk a little bit, of course, about that in a little bit. But so 9 mats, how long does it take to make each mat? I don't think I'd asked you that question.
One mat takes about 10 hours. I tried it at home, and it took me 10 hours to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, if you get to gabbing, well, I have to tell you that the weavers don't gab near as much as the Plarn makers, but, you know.
And if anyone has anything that they want to add to this, Carla?
Well, it takes that long to do just the mats, but we have to take the plastic bags, straighten them, cut them, and then tie them into the, what do you call it?
Plarn.
Plarn. And that takes quite a while. I think I've done it at home. Maybe I made a ball in probably 45 minutes.
Wow, that is time consuming, and we will certainly take a look, and you can explain that into more detail here in just a little bit. We'll get you guys back working at those tables, but
Table.
it took you all winter. Well, we've got a little bit more winter to go too, so it is a great winter day project, I can tell. You said that your daughter took these to a homeless shelter in St. Louis, is that correct?
Actually, her church in St. Louis goes right down to the bridges where the homeless live.
Oh, wow,
And they minister to them down there, and that's where they took the mats.
wow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's certain organizations, but I am sure that if somebody started asking around, they would find a place to deliver these. So, Viola, are you looking for, we were talking before, they've got plenty of bags right now gathered, but you could sure use people to help out.
We could. We've
Talk
got a lot
about that
bigger
just a
room.
little bit.
We have a huge room over here that we could move into if we had that many people. And I
Right.
would gladly make more looms. But like Carla said, we have to take these bags and you fold them and you cut them, and then you have to knot them together and make what they call Plarn, which is plastic yarn. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty time consuming, and the weaving is time consuming. So even with the amount of people that we only had 9 mats done.
Right.
And that was a little discouraging, but
Right.
9 was more than none.
Yeah.
So.
Any of you in the group want to just talk to the getting together and what it means to you that you know? Anybody have anything they want to say back here? I'm hoping.
Well, it's a good time to get together and enjoy each other. And we just love doing it. And it's helping people.
That's right. And, I imagine that there's even local, even if you figured out there's probably a need that these could be used even locally. So I would say as the group grows and continues and word gets out, you'll probably even hear possibly of those needs. Well, we want to reiterate that you meet every Tuesday.
That's correct.
From 1:30 to 3:30. Anyone is welcome to join. Kids, as you said in your son's church, that it was, or
That's
a
right.
community actually,
That's right.
it was everybody. So not that you want a babysitting service or anything like that.
The
but
parents have to come
if
with
the
them.
parents come, bring the kids, and just really welcome anyone from anywhere. So, okay. Well, I think we've got the information. So now I'd like to see what you guys do to put them together.
Okay, to begin with, our Plarn that we call it, that we use for the mats, is made out of recycled shopping bags. And just about any kind of shopping bag works for this. When we get bright colors, we get excited because it makes the mats a little prettier. Carla's going to fold and do the steps while I talk about it. The first thing you need to do is kind of flatten out the bag and get it kind of squared up. And then you fold it about 3 or 4 times, depending on the size of the bag, lengthwise. Then you cut off the tops where the handles are and the bottom. And depending on the thickness of the bag, we cut them anywhere from about 1.5 inches wide to, if they're, sometimes I'll cut mine 2 inches wide if they're thinner. And if they're thicker, sometimes about 1 inch is all you can get, because it doesn't pull tight when you go to put it into the yarn when you start looping them. Then you take each of the loops and you loop them together, which right now, that's what Patty and Wanda are doing also. They're looping their strips together. This is what takes the longest when you're doing this process, is looping them together. You want the knots to be as small as you can get so they don't cause problems when they're looming. Then you just roll, when you get your strips, your loops kind of together, you start rolling it into a ball just like you would do a ball of yarn. But Carla said she could make one in about 45 minutes. I maybe make mine a little bigger. It takes me sometimes 1.5 hours. And this is a good project when you're watching TV. You're not eating popcorn, you're sitting and doing something with your hands. So it's a really good project. I've cut a lot up in the last 6 months or so. Yeah, she's got her husband helping her too, I think. Dan helps.
Until the other night, he told me I wasn't agreeing with the way he was doing it. So now I don't know if he'll help me. These are the looms. They're called peg looms. And when we get the yarn, we just start weaving it around the pegs. Of course, first you have to prepare the pegs. In the pegs is what's called warp, if you know anything about weaving. And we started out with black plastic because it's stronger, but it's also very hard to pull through when it gets to be 6 foot long. So we have switched to baling twine because it's still strong, but it's fine, and we can pull it through this wad of plastic. Now, Marilyn and I have just traded looms because hers is full, and I have to tie it off. But the weaving part is really easy. It's actually kind of peaceful because you just go back and forth around the pegs, and depending on how much you want to pull through, I usually go about 1 inch on the peg. Then you have to pull the pegs out, put them back in their holes, and start weaving again. And that's what forces it down the warp, or that twine that we have through there. And this one here is ready to tie off. So I'll take it off the pegs, pull the black up, and tie knots in it. And we'll be done with that one, and then we'll have to redress this loom.
Okay, so you're going to tie it off. Did you say these are like 6 feet? Is that
That's
kind of your, yeah.
6 by 4.
Have you ever figured out how many bags are in one rug?
Oh, we've tried.
That's kind of like counting stars, isn't it?
I don't know. I always lose count when I'm trying to keep, count them, so. I think it takes at least 350.
At least 350 bags or more.
And that, whoops, sorry, Marilyn. That's going to depend on the size of the bags, too.
Right. Oh, okay, so this is still through there. Okay. So now this is one that you use the black plastic,
Yeah,
not the binder twine. Okay.
We have one in there that started with the twine, but we don't have a third weaver here, so it's just sitting there.
So you're switching off though to the binder twine. You think that's
this time.
okay?
The main thing with the binder twine is to push this down to get it
Right. To
really fat, because there's no use giving them a single plastic bag to lay on. It's
right.
supposed to be, a little soft, so. So then all we do is we cut this.
This is neat that we're seeing the completion of one. I think that's really nice. Wanda says that anyone who wants to ever furnish refreshments, they're always looking for something to eat or drink.
That's all there is to tying it off. You just tie knots in it, then we cut those long strings off.
Have a little fringe.
Yep. Very little. Well, the other end has a pretty good fringe on it. Usually we cut them pretty short.
Yeah.
But the black plastic is not fun to cut, so I wasn't sad about going to baling twine. In fact, the first time we cut the black plastic, my mom and Carla laid it on our pool table and went back and forth, making 1-inch strips. So then when we dress the looms, there's holes in the pegs.
Yes, I saw
And we
that.
cut a 13-foot piece of baling twine, put it through here, and you pull it till it's even, and then you tie a knot
Yeah.
so that
It
your
keeps-
plastic doesn't
yeah.
fall off the end.
Going down the.
So,
I think that any kind of weaving or knitting is peaceful. You know, someone made that comment a while ago. Not that I would know anything about that.
somebody sent me an article. We're from Nebraska, and somebody sent me an article of a ranch wife who last winter did 284 mats.
Oh, my goodness. They must have had a bad winter there.
Well, ranches in Nebraska, there's nothing out by Valentine. It's just ranches. And so they have to go a long ways to town, and they prepare for winter. And so I can imagine if she was snowed in,
Yes.
gave her plenty to do. Now, there are some people who actually crochet these mats.
Oh.
When you look for bed mats for the homeless on the internet, there are some who crochet it. But I didn't want to teach people to crochet. I enjoy crocheting. I'm not sure I could teach anybody how to do it.
The colors do give it a pretty look.
It does. Now, the ladies were saying last time that they couldn't find gray bags, but there is a popular store in Moberly that has gray bags, guys. The same popular store in Macon that has white bags.
There we go. Well, now we have the completed rug. We also wanted to show you that you can make a pillow as well. And I would say that probably the possibilities would be endless on many different things that can be done with this. But I just want to thank you, ladies, for joining us today to kind of show the community, to show those watching that there are so many worthwhile projects that, no matter, we call this a senior moment, and so we really do try to focus on the senior population, and that your work, your thoughts, what you do for the community is really valuable. And whether you're still working or if you're retired, whether you're 50, whether you're 60, whether you're older, you're still valuable, and we thank you guys so much for doing this and being our guest on A Senior Moment. And we will see you the next time we have A Senior Moment.